Hi there. Oh, I'm so glad you came today because I brought two books that are important books to me. They taught me something, and they're going to teach you something too. They're going to teach us how we don't want to be. Yeah. First one is Whatever, Wanda. She has a case of being a stinker thinker. She has the way her brain works is she has stinking thinking, and we need to get her out of that. You're going to enjoy Whatever, Wanda. And I think I'll start with humble pie. Everyone needs a slice of that now and then. And you know, I brought a pie crust to show you, but it started breaking up and crumbling, and I said, no, I'm going to. So instead, I have a pie pan. Now, when we make a pie, we take the crust and we put it in the bottom, see? And then we put the good stuff in there, the apples, the cherries, the blueberries. And then we put another crust on top, and we sort of pinch it all the way around, see? You're going to need to know that when we read Humble Pie. Let's get started. And you know, the illustrations, the pictures in this book they're different than probably what you're used to. And I think they're fun. There's something about that's almost a little spooky. You'll see what I mean. Once upon a time, and a long time ago it was, there lived a very bad boy named Theo. He thought of nobody besides himself. He never helped his father with the chores or shared his toys or gave a penny to a poor beggar. He never gave a bite of sausage to the dog or a lick of milk to the cat. Ugh. No one knew why Theo was so awful, but some had theories. His uncle said he ate too much pepper. The village apothecary, that's like the druggist, the guy who works at the drugstore, said he had a small troll living inside him, just below his liver. Only Theo's grandmother knew the truth. The boy was spoiled rotten. His parents made too much of him. His mother wove him tunics of the softest flax, and his father made him a leather pouch for his pennies. He had a plump feather bed and a warm coverlet. He had a crimson cap and a beautiful hobby horse. Whew, he had everything he wanted. You would think that Theo might appreciate all that his parents had worked so hard to give him. Not a bit. The more he got, the more he wanted. He became demanding and arrogant, selfish, thoughtless, inconsiderate, grabby, unkind, bumptious, rude and lazy, obnoxious, obstreperous, high-handed, and mouthy. Ooh, I don't like mouthy. One day, when the bread wouldn't rise and the cat had kittens in the sewing box and Meg the servant girl burned the stew and Theo's mother's patience was gone, Theo came in and grabbed a basket of strawberries she had just picked. Theo, don't eat those. They're for baby Tom's birthday cake. But I want them. He pulled so hard the basket split and the berries went flying. They spattered on the floor like big red raindrops. Theo knew he was in trouble. He ran out of the kitchen before his mother could catch him and through the woods to his grandmother's house. He found her in the yard making a pie. She was rolling out the top crust, making it bigger with every push of her rolling pin. bigger than a 9-inch pie, bigger than a 10-inch pie, bigger than a tablecloth, holy cow, bigger than a bed sheet. So big, in fact, that when she was done, she had to hang it over her clothesline. Now that's a big pie crust. What kind of pie is that, Grandmother? The old woman smiled. Humble pie, child. Well, I want some. Oh, you shall have plenty, she said, filling the pie with buckets of fruit. As she worked, she sang a funny little song. Flour, butter, salt, say I. Berries, cherries, pile them high. Hush now, mother, don't you sigh. Let the boy eat humble pie. Greedy Theo leaned against the pie and snatched a cherry. He leaned over farther and reached for a plum. As he was about to grab it, he lost his balance and toppled forward. Quick as a wink, his grandmother flipped the top crust over him and crimped the edges. Theo was sealed in the pie. Help! Grandmother, get me out! Only you can do that, child, she said. And then she went inside, still singing the pie song. Flour, butter, salt, say I. Plums and peaches, pile them high. The child will shout, the child will cry, until he's tasted humble pie. Furious, Theo launched into the biggest temper tantrum you've ever seen. He kicked and screamed. He pummeled the top crust. He stamped on the bottom crust. He threw himself from side to side and rocked the pie so hard that it tipped upright onto its edge. He found he could roll forward this way and that he could see out the steam holes. See, when you put the top crust on, you take a knife. You put little holes here and there so the steam can come out. I know what to do. I'll roll home. Mama will cut me out with her sewing scissors. On the way to his house, he passed some of his schoolmates playing King of the Hill. Maud, Alfred, Eleanor, Baldric, he shouted, it's me, Theo. Theo, Alfred said, prodding the pie with his wooden sword. Is that really you? Yes, help, get me out. But no one did. Alfred said, he never takes turns and he never shares. Maud said, he boasts and brags and wants his own way. And Eleanor said, he tattles and tells and always makes trouble. Baldric said nothing. He just gave the pie a push. The others joined in and got it rolling. The pie rolled fast. Whenever it hit a pothole, it flew high into the air and landed with a bang. Theo was bounced and trounced and jounced. By the time he got home, he was dizzy. He had a lump on his head and a scrape on his knee, and he couldn't wait to get out of the pie. His family was sure to be worried about him. They were certain to miss him. Why, they probably missed him so much they were crying their eyes out. But when he rolled up to the kitchen window, he saw that they weren't crying. They were laughing. Meg was singing, and Fred the stable boy was playing the mandolin. His grandmother was serving cake and cider. His parents were dancing. The dog and cat were dancing too. They were all celebrating baby Tom's birthday. Bewildered, Theo slumped down inside the pie, knocked it against the house. His father heard the noise. Thinking it was an animal, he sent the dog to chase it away. The cat went too. Theo saw them. Go, dog! "Go, cat, get my mother and father!" But the dog and cat didn't go anywhere. They thought about all the kicks and slaps they'd received from Theo and all the times he refused to give them a bite of his supper. Then they rolled the pie to the edge of a hill behind the house and let it go. Down the hill and through the woods it went. Wham, bang, crash! Theo howled and yowled and thumped and bumped over rocks and ruts and branches. By the time the pie came to a stop, he had another lump on his head and an ugly bruise on his elbow. "Where am I?" he wondered, wincing as he rubbed his sore spots. He looked out and saw a village. Maybe somebody there can get me out. As he rolled toward the village, he noticed some very strange things. There were no children playing, no smells of baking or brewing, and the fields, which should have been full of barley and rye, had nothing in them but ashes. Sad, thin people stood at the edge of one, weeping and wailing about a great fire that had burned their crops. They had nothing to eat. Their children were starving. As Theo listened to them, he felt a new pain, one that was far worse than the lumps on his head or the scrape on his knee or the bruise on his elbow. It was in his chest, this pain, on the left side, underneath his ribs, way deep down. Then all of a sudden, a thin little girl who was peering out from her mother's skirt said, "Look, Mama, look, a giant pie." Her mother turned around. So did everyone else. A cheer went up. "Hooray! Oh, it's a miracle! We're saved!" "Uh-oh," Theo said. He tried to roll back the way he came, but the people were very hungry and very fast. They hoisted the pie up and carried it off to the baker's. "Please, please don't eat me," he begged. "I'm not a pie. I'm a little boy." But his voice was drowned by the cheering. The people were so happy to have something to eat, and Theo was so sad that something to eat was him. The baker's men piled logs into a huge brick oven. The people fanned the flames. "Oh, the fire's burning brightly." Ooh, and they licked their lips. Theo started to cry. "Help me! Please, somebody get me out." His tears dripped into the pie crust. "Oh, the coals are glowing red," the baker shouted. The people chomped their teeth, big teeth, little teeth, straight teeth, crooked teeth, and sharp teeth. Theo's tears flooded down. "Oh, the oven's hot and ready," said the baker. Opening the huge iron door, his men picked up the pie. And just as they were about to slide it into the oven, one of them stumbled. Theo was pitched head first into the crust. The soggy pastry gave way and he burst from the pie. "Hello, pardon me, excuse me. Goodbye," he said to the astonished people. Then he ran out of that town, back up the hill and into the woods, as fast as his feet could carry him. The people checked the pie to make sure there were no more children inside and then baked it. And the funny thing was, no matter how much they ate, they didn't finish that pie until a year later, after new crops had been harvested and their larders and cellars were full of food. It's like a miracle. By the time Theo got home, it was evening. He saw the cat in the yard and patted her head. He whistled for the dog and scratched his ears. His mother came out of the barn with grain for her chickens. Theo took the bucket and fed them himself. When he was done, he chopped some wood for kindling. Then he milked the cow. The cow looked surprised. Fred, the stable boy, looked surprised. Theo's father was so surprised, he dropped his pitchfork. He went to find his wife. "Theo's milking the cow, he told her. He fed the chickens, too, and chopped the wood without being told. What's happened to him? But her husband had no idea. She turned to Theo's grandmother, who was readying herself to leave. Mother, do you know? Well, looks to me like the boy got his just desserts, Theo's grandmother replied, and then she headed home through the woods, singing as she walked. Flour, butter, salt, say I, Theo's tasted humble pie. Plums and peaches, pears and quince have turned our toad into a prince. Berries ripe and apples tart have opened wide his selfish heart. Once stubborn, now he's sweet and willing. There's a magic in a good pie filling. Wow. That Theo was a very selfish, mean, thoughtless boy. Now, partly, though, I blame his parents a little bit. Because if you ask someone to milk the cow and they just say no, it shouldn't end there. You tell them, oh yes, you will milk the cow. But grandmother understood what was going on and she took care of business. And she made that big giant pie. And guess what? He learned to be a little more humble. Humble means you don't think you're all that. Yeah. I like this book, and I hope you enjoy it also. Humble Pie. It's by Jennifer Donnelly. It's a fun one. Okay, now, whatever Wanda. Oh, this is a good one. And something tells me we've all been like Wanda now and then. Now, at the very beginning of this book, it says there's a star on each page. And it says, find the star that follows Wanda. Can you tell whether it's excited or sad? When Wanda displays a positive attitude, the star looks happy and bright. When Wanda's attitude is poor, the star looks dim and deflated. On each page, notice the star's mood and try to guess why it might feel that way. If a frown has found your face, put a smile in its place. Change your mind and start to care. You'll see fun is everywhere. Wanda, time to wake up and get dressed. You don't want to miss the start of the duck dash, her mom called. The annual Rubber Duck Days Festival was the biggest celebration of the year. Everyone looked forward to it. Everyone, that is, but Wanda. She did not understand why an entire town went so crazy over a bunch of ducks. She pulled the covers back over her head and said, whatever. Hurry now, we want to be on time, her mother called again. Wanda looked at the clothes on the chair. Her mother had picked out matching duck outfits for the whole family. Ugh. Wanda did not want to wear any duck outfit, especially not one that matched the rest of her family. She slowly slid off the bed and said, whatever. Oh, Oh, don't you two look adorable? Her mother commented as Wanda joined her brother Ty at the breakfast table. Do we have to wear these? She grumbled. It's a family tradition, said her mother. Wanda, are you excited about the festival? Asked her brother Ty. She was not. Wanda rolled her eyes and said, whatever. As they reached the Duck Dash starting line, they ran into some friends from school. Marvin was pulling a wagon, and he asked Wanda, do you want to run with us? We're handing these out as we go. That seemed like a lot of extra work to Wanda. She looked down and said, whatever. So her friends ran ahead without her. The next event was the Duck Derby. Each person chose a rubber duck. All the ducks were lined up along the edge of the pond, and we'd be pushed off to float to the finish line. Would you like to choose your own? Asked the man behind the tub. This one looks like a winner. They all looked the same to Wanda. She grabbed the closest duck and said, what do you think she said? Whatever. Wanda's duck was not a winner, not even close. Next came the Waddle Walk Relay. The team that finished first would get to ride on the main float of the Lucky Duck Parade that afternoon. Woo! Kids lined up to divide into teams and practice walking in their duck feet. Marvin went first and picked Willow for his team. Oscar went next and picked Lainey. Willow asked, hey, Wanda, do you want to be on our team? Wanda thought the whole thing was silly, and she said, whatever. So Willow chose someone else, while Wanda just watched. Everyone seemed to be having so much fun. Wanda just did not get it. Marvin and Willow's team won. Great job, everyone. Good teamwork. Wanda's father smiled and said, maybe next year, kid. She thought to herself, I doubt it. Whatever. It was time for the Lucky Duck Parade. Willow and Marvin's team would be riding up front with Waddles, the Grand Marshal. People started heading to the town square, to get ready. Everyone had a job to do. Wanda's mom was helping with snacks. Her dad was blowing up duck balloons. Ty was his assistant. The woman in charge had asked Wanda what she would like to do. Whatever. So she was assigned a job that no one else wanted. She was in charge of the trash pickup. The winners of the Waddle Walk passed by with some other friends from school. They were on their way to the float for the start of the parade. They waved at Wanda. Wanda waved back and tried a fake smile. Whatever. Just then, Waddles was passing by on the other side of the street. Do you want to join your friends? The float's only for the winners. I didn't play. I didn't think it would be fun. Well, it seems to me that you just need an attitude adjustment. Sometimes you have to believe something will be great before it actually is. Being positive is a choice that makes everything better, not to mention a whole lot more fun. Wanda thought about how happy everyone else seemed to be. Then she thought about the way she'd been acting. She was the only one not having fun. There is one job left. Would you be willing to help? Waddles asked. Yeah, I think that sounds like fun. Well, let's go or we'll miss the parade, said Waddles. Wanda scooped up the last pile of trash and hurried to join her. Waddles gave Wanda the perfect job and the perfect spot. She was an instant hit and had the most fun of all. Look at that. Who's looking forward to next year's festival? Wanda asked. I am, yelled Wanda as she gave another quack out to the crowd. She was positive it was going to be great. Now, did you see? For most of this book, Wanda was whatever. And then she decided. She gave herself permission to have fun, to change her attitude. It's so important. We all do things that we might not be too crazy about. But if you change your attitude, you can actually make it kind of fun. Like, let's say you have to rake the yard. All those leaves and this big rake, and I don't want to, and my friends are all playing, whatever. Or you could get out there and have so much fun trying to make the biggest pile of leaves ever and invite your friends over to come jump in it with you. See, it's just click. Change your attitude. Stinking thinking. It doesn't work. It's not a good idea. Change your attitude. Doesn't matter what you have to do. Change it to be positive, and I guarantee you're going to have a lot more fun. So I hope you liked our books. Whatever, Wanda, and Humble Pie. And you know that pie crust was a lot bigger than this pie pan. It was as big as like a giant blanket. Can you imagine? And he was rolled up in there. He thought he was all that. And it was very interesting because his friends didn't want to help him. Oh, I love bringing books to you and reading to you. And I hope you'll go to YouTube and put in The Book Lady, because you can watch it there whenever you want. And until the next time, I'm the Book Lady. Goodbye.